Do you a lot of times just say like, "Hey, go by Joey"? Or?
Yeah, I would say Joey because they would say like Joseph Mack, but then I'd be like, I'd correct. I was like, it's actually Joey Mack. They're like, it's really Joey on your birth certificate. I'm like, yeah, Joey Mack.
Yeah, like you think I'm just making up.
Yeah.
I guess
I'm bullshitting you when we first meet. Great way to start. Yeah.
People question your name. It's pretty funny. Like you ever go to Starbucks and just like the ridiculous ways they write names. Like,
I love it.
How do you fuck up Ryan?
It's like R and like
R-I-A-N. Like, I think people do spell it that way, but super rare.
I think if I was working in that industry, if I knew my client, I would just fuck with them and just be like,
all types of shit.
Yeah.
Jerk off.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, that's what makes fun of it. You can't do it to everyone, but that's how you would have fun with it.
I would totally butcher names too.
Oh, yeah.
So I could barely spell. I was kicked out of the 7th grade, so who am I to talk?
Yeah, it's all good.
Thank God for spell check and copywriters.
Oh, 100. Shout out to them, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So for your viewers and friends and family who's going to watch this, I like to tell people why this was started. Ryan was a young guy, kicked out of high school, was very motivated. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and I just found my way to success and what I call financial freedom. And financial freedom is different for everybody. It doesn't mean you got 10 million plus liquid. Someone's financial freedom could be 50 million, 100 million. It could just be, I want to make 250 grand and not work for the man. And live in a nice neighborhood and a decent home. So everybody's definition is different, but I always felt as I was coming up, there wasn't enough people that was willing to turn around and give back. And I think that's a big problem in this country because we have so much greed, and I love capitalism. I think it's a great thing. But we have so much greed that once you get to a certain level, you're like up there in a helicopter and you're like looking back down and you're like, should I go back and help the sheep? And, the gap has just widened so much with the wealth. It's very difficult for people to get over that hurdle in their mind. And I'm not saying it ain't hard work. It's absolutely hard work. But so is working for a job that you hate your entire life.
Correct.
That you have to put in 40, 50, sometimes 60 hours a week, or you're traveling all over the country and or world.
Correct.
So this is about turning around, helping the next guy or girl in line. You're somebody who has given to your country, given to your community. I could tell just in our short interactions, you guys came and did the event. Pre-networking party. Cigars were great. Your staff was great.
Thank you.
Obviously we hired you. You're a veteran-owned business, you and your partners, and I could tell that you care about your people already. I could tell that you try to connect others and continue to give back to your friends and your ecosystem. So that's why we're having you on.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Ryan. And financial freedom has all sorts of definitions. I think leadership has all sorts of definitions, But thank you for having us. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity, not just for our company, but for our people as well on our team, to highlight them, to show what we could do, because essentially it's not just cigars, right? It's the overall experience.
Rattle some of their names real quick. Who do you want to give love to?
You know what? I give love to all of them, right? There's my field team, so we have 60 veterans, first responders, and those connected. I'm going to show equal love to them because they are the people where the tire hits the street, where they're going and they're representing our company and our values. And then our management team, which goes sales and social media, I could rattle off their names, but those people are important because it's kind of like the first contact that they get with us. And then the field team carries that contact to the end, which is just extremely important at the beginning to end.
Absolutely. It's funny you said that, kind of a joke. You think that doctors can get that right? Majority of doctors' office, the first person you talk to is like the miserable lady at the front desk. Either she's answering the phone or she's like, what are you here for? Like, I got a fucking brain tumor. Like, what the fuck do you think I'm here for? Like,
that's why I see that kind of like, when you're building a business, right? Any point of contact that you reach out to us, or social media, our email, our team member, our website, is a direct reflection of not just our company, but myself and my other partners, because that's important to us.
So I'm so scared to give up social media.
Oh, really?
I answer everything. It's me. I mean, we have a lot of automation and we have funnels and other things, but you're DMing Ryan D. Robbins Instagram. It's me.
Oh, nice.
I'm so fearful of that. Jamie from Eat Clean Bro talked about that heavily at the event. He was like, my people better be nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's so important, that
Yeah,
first line of
super.
defense.
Exactly. You know, when we can, you know, something that we learned in the military is where you could delegate authority, but you cannot delegate responsibility, right? And so the authority is, you know, Ryan, who heads our social media, his authority is to answer and be kind of that extension of the arm. But at the end of the day, it is our responsibility to make sure he's doing the right thing.
Extreme ownership.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's super important for any business. Yeah.
It is. You know, at times younger in business, you know, I would have sales guys I was trying to train, and I'd, you know, be crushing it and hustling and putting together designs and closing deals, and I'd be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And it's like, well, did you really give them a platform to win? Like, yeah, you do a meeting or you pull them into one of your meetings. That doesn't mean they know how to do it. They need to have the steps broken down. And that's something that I have worked on as a leader heavily, is like, make sure I'm, you know, giving them the environment to succeed, and then also understanding who your people are.
Correct.
You know, different personalities have different strengths, different weaknesses.
I agree.
So, guy from Bellville.
Yes.
How'd you like growing up in Bellville?
I loved it, you know. So I'm first generation born in the United States. So I was born and raised in Bellville, born in Claramas.
A lot of Irish there.
Most of my good friends growing up, let's just say all their last names ended with vowels, yeah? So, great, you know, that's...
When did your parents come over? Both,
yeah. So they came in over like the 70s.
Together?
Separately. And they met here in Jersey, yeah. But yeah, growing up, I freaking loved it. You know, loved the town. It was very close-knit, blue-collar town. You know, just hard workers, and all the people that I grew up with were just kind of like instrumental of like where I am today, right? The friends, the circle of friends that I hung out with, the coaches, exactly, the staff, the teachers. So I absolutely loved it growing up. Yeah.
The Jersey is so cool. I became very frustrated and vocal about how much I hated it during COVID, because I'm freedom everything, and that's for all. And I don't want to go too far off path, but the Jersey topography, how it like quickly changes from the shore to, I'm moving the wall, which is literally a 12-minute ride from here. Yeah. But I'm literally 2-minute car ride to the beach. I'm now going to be 12 minutes from here, and I have 4 acres that backs up to 1,000 acres of preserved land.
Hell yeah.
And you feel like you're in like farm country in all this woods, and you're like, where are you? And then as you move up through Monmouth County, Homedale, Atlantic Highlands, it starts to get very hilly and spread out, and large trees, mature trees. And then as you get up, you know, North Jersey more, you have a lot of the big cities.
Correct.
Then you also have things like Mahwah and other towns out there that are, you know, very large properties. New Jersey is a really unique place.
I love it.
And each town has its own little feel and thing to it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think the only thing we're missing is pretty much the desert. Yeah. Because we got, you know, we do have, I mean, they're not big mountains.
They're gorgeous, though.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
I've been up in a helicopter many times flying over Hudson Valley up to the Catskills.
Yep.
It's
great.
gorgeous.
The lakes over there. So I live currently.
And we have trees. You don't got trees out in Utah and shit.
Correct.
Montana's got trees, but...
You know, I always tell people when they're traveling through Jersey, you know, whether they travel through 95 or the Garden State, they always go through like the big cities and stuff. I'm like, when we travel out west or more south, it like changes, and
quickly.
That's what I like about it. Where you don't have, if you want the city part, you know, go to you know, the Jersey City, the Hoboken. And
we can get it quick, 45, 50 minutes.
Exactly. If you want to get more than sticks, go west. Beach life, you got the Jersey Shore life that comes all the way down. And then you just have the farm life. That's like kind of like the south part in Central.
Yeah, I'm proud to be from Jersey, and as I've traveled around and I've seen a lot of the West Coast people, there's some amazing people out there, but they're just different.
Yeah.
They
We're both different.
Yeah, they definitely can't handle direct Ryan that well.
We're very like this and very like
quick-witted.
To the point.
We talk shit. We're direct.
Yeah, I think the talking shit is what gets us more in trouble than anything else.
It's fun though.
They're like, is he really angry at me? Like, no, dude, he actually like likes you.
Well, this dude on Patrick's team, Patrick Bet-David, down there, and the guy Mario was like, what, who are you angry at? And I'm like, I'm not fucking angry at anybody, bro. I'm just passionate. I'm not mad about shit. I'm just motivated to go, bro. I'm gonna fucking go.
And that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
Like you, especially growing up in Bellville, you had to be like a shit talker, right? And when you shit talk your friends,
You're gonna get chewed up and spit
oh
out.
yeah. And once they smell that or taste that blood, when you start a little weakness, they go harder, right? So you had to develop thick skin, and that's part of my upbringing.
I'll tell you where it did me a really good solid.
Yeah.
And we're going all over the place, but that's why I like these combos. Is it really helped me in business?
Yeah.
Because you get really good at being street smart.
Correct.
And having the ability to read the person on the other side of the phone, in the meeting, in a room of networking. And I really can shoot the shit with anybody. And some of that is a blessing from the big guy upstairs. You know, some people have the gift of gab, some don't. But being from Jersey, having friends that always talk shit and, you know, kind of being quick-witted and being able to respond fast. Sometimes people would hang around our friends and like, do you guys even like each other?
Like, actually, we love each other. but
we just say the most horrible things ever.
You know, and I agree with you. It's just, especially in business, right? You know when to turn it on and turn it off. Where you can walk into a room, you can read it pretty quickly, because growing up in Jersey, you have all walks of life, you know, from like small cities to the big city folk, right? And then when you're in business, you gotta read the room and understand how you communicate, how your actions are, customs and courtesies sometimes, because culturally in New Jersey,
things are different.
we got communities, right? And then when you travel through those communities, you know, there's cultures and you know, that are enormous to them, but different for you. But you learn those, and so you're kind of like a little bit more traveled.
That's what I mean. You get like, you're kind of like almost like seasoned, like you're a world traveler, but you're just here in Jersey.
In Jersey. It's like, I've traveled to like, the Dominican section of Paris.
I have Muslim friends and clients. I have black friends. You know, Hispanic. You know, obviously white, Italian, Irish. You know, Colombian, German, you know, so many people, you know, here in Long Island. Long Island's another one where there's just a mixed bag. But it's cool.
Since we're advertising, it is expensive to live here.
It is. But there's money here too.
There is.
You know, that's the big problem that a lot of people fail to remember. You know, I hear so many people, and this is, you know, to people hopefully listening, think bigger. You know, you get caught in this job and you're making $125, you know, a year, and that's nothing to shake a stick at. But in New Jersey right now, like especially the current climate we're in, like you need to make $300,000 as a family. If you want to live in a decent, mediocre town that has a house anywhere from $500,000 to $750,000, you probably have some student debt. You have cars in the driveway. You know, your first like $175,000 is eaten up in your cost and just like your fixed savings, retirement stuff, the kids. Now the extra 100 is for living, right? Vacations, dinners, and people kind of laugh at me at times, and I'm like, no, that's the truth in it. Like, I'm not saying you can't live on less, but if you want to be able to vacation,
be comfortable,
have a family, save for retirement, help maybe pay for a kid's school or two, like you need to make a minimum $300,000 a year.
And those are the opportunities.
But the opportunity is here to make that.
Oh, absolutely, right? There's some states where it's very hard to get those opportunities, and that's why.
But your house is $76,000.
Yeah. I'm like, what's your property tax? I'm like,
$1,800.
I was like, let's just say I have a mortgage on top of a mortgage.
On top of another mortgage. I don't even want to go into what my new mortgage is. It's just insane. But you know, I choose to live here, and at some point, I probably will leave. You know, my kids grew up and they leave the nest, and they do their thing. You know, they maybe they go to college. I'm not pushing that, but. I would dip to a tax-free state, no doubt, or even out west, Montana or something. Go in the middle of the woods.
Just out there.
Yeah, just go. You know, try it. Why not?
Yeah, we're actually sending one of our guys. He's doing an event over in Montana in Bozeman, I think it is. Yeah. So that's a state that we haven't been to yet. So he's going to kind of like put the flag on there too.
That's cool.
But
that's awesome.
It's different out there.
So. You know, where did this concept come from? You obviously went into the military, and I'm kind of fast-tracking your school career. You went to college, which was the military academy.
So I attended Norwich University up in Northfield, Vermont. So I went in 2006, and I graduated in 2011.
Was that right after high school, or you joined the Marines first?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2005, and then 3 days later, I shipped over to Parris Island in boot camp. So I did 13 weeks there. Then I did another 10 weeks in infantry school. So then I graduated in December. And then January I checked into my unit, and then I went off to college from there. Yeah, so it's pretty much just go, go, go. And then in between college, we got deployed to Norway, Mongolia, and Iraq in 08, 09. And then right when I graduated college is when my military career ended, was in 2011. So everything like stopped right there in 2011. All I knew for those 6 years was just the military life. Yeah, so.
How was that in your eyes?
A game changer, yeah. I learned a lot of things in the military. I think the military is a fast track to leadership, right? There's guys and gals that you meet that we had to go through that door, you'll fucking go through that door, right? And there's some people that you meet that you don't even want to go to McDonald's to, right? And it's different from the corporate because sometimes you're stuck with like a boss for like years. In the Marine Corps or in the military in general, you're seeing leadership changing, evolving, turnover, your peers, turnover, changing over time, and you get to understand, which I loved about the military.
You're plugged into a system.
Correct. And then you get to decide, listen, I love how he leads his Marines. I hate how that is, or what can I do to improve that and not teach like that? Because there's Marines that are micromanagers. I'm not a micromanager, right? In business, you sort of have to with your processes, but you
could build the proper, SOPs to do that for you and not, act as a micromanager.
Correct.
Leadership is hard.
Yeah, and how do you define leadership, Ryan?
I think somebody, if I kept it simplistic and not overcomplicated, I think someone who's willing to get out front, do hard things, blaze a trail, and then inspire others to follow you.
Yeah.
And again, there's a multitude of ways to do that, right?
Correct.
Bill Belichick was a really good coach.
Yeah.
With an old school mentality, very disciplined, very rigid. Parcells was in your face, but also just a true Jersey guy. Knew how to read everybody. Knew how to blend in. So, obviously that could wiggle in there, but your job is to get out front, blaze a trail, and lead and inspire others, whether that's in a company, in life, in your church, in your community, whatever it may be. And at times we think we're leading, but you're not a leader for everybody.
Correct.
Unless you're a fake politician, like there's a certain set of people that's going to be attracted to your tonality.
Correct.
But that's why we need many leaders, just like the military has.
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
For me, simplicity, right? It's just you are building new leaders in a positive way, right? And leadership isn't just leading people. It's
building new leaders.
Correct. And that's why when we look at our core values as our company, we don't want people to stay where they are, like from this year to next year. Like that's not leadership. I want
upward mobility.
Exactly. And be like, hey, this is where we are. This is where you're going to be at. And we want you to be part of our journey. And another thing that I learned in the military, it's where it's mission first, but people always. And that's a huge key thing. And these are all just jargons that I've learned in the military that I brought into my civilian life, into my business, that the mission, yes, it's priority, it's the first thing, you gotta accomplish the mission, but you always gotta remember your people. And something that, another quote that I get from Brendan Dawson is, people don't move businesses, right? Businesses don't move people, people move businesses. Yeah. And I think that's important because I even though it's like our successes, I look back, I'm like, no, this is our team success. And that's what's important. I've always played sports, always been a team mentality, and that's how I want it. Because if we all win together, it's like a bigger success. Like I don't want that shit by myself.
And this country's got to win together. And when we've been losing, different battles on the battlefield, than you guys and the military deals with overseas on their battlefield, and it takes good leaders. That's again to shamelessly plug Fireside in the Pit. We want to build really strong leaders that embody family, financial freedom in our country, and those core set of values that if you stick to those in any decision making in business or life, you're never going to get off track.
Correct.
And putting other leaders, even on social media, stupid stuff where I'm encouraging someone who's insecure to get out there with their business and get on social media, because now with their tonality, they're going to have people attracted to them that they're leading for.
Correct.
Right? That same person that's watching them is like, I can't believe he's getting on social media. And again, anybody who watches this, you're not utilizing social media, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're absolutely crazy. You're 5 years into having cell phones and you're still rocking a beeper if you're not on there for your business.
Yeah. Yeah, part of being business is, just upgrading to whatever that situation is. And for social media, it's a big part because of how we directly communicate with our clientele, our target audience, right? That's important to us, but I agree wholeheartedly.
And I also suck at leadership at times.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I get very fucking mad.
Yeah.
You put all your blood, sweat, and tears, and you're trying to pull these people behind you because you are pulling them as a leader.
Yeah.
You are, even if they're going to be another good leader. Majority of the time, when you were in your platoon, you said there's a lot of those guys I wouldn't go into McDonald's with.
Yeah.
There was also a lot of guys that are like, if I got to get into a street fight, I respect that you're a Marine, but I don't know if you'd be the first guy I pick.
Yeah.
Or I'm so glad you're very good with those comms and the intelligence side of things. Like, I'm glad I'm not going into a gun battle with you. So there's different players on the team as well. And as a leader, you have to identify where those people go.
Correct.
And sometimes when you're working so damn hard, at least for me, in my personal opinion, you could really lose your patience when you're trying so hard for them.
Correct.
You want them to succeed, because if you succeed, I succeed.
Correct.
And sometimes it's the lack of taking action, it's the lack of listening.
Yeah.
And I've blown up from time to time.
Hey, you know what? It's okay, because now going back, let's circle it back to, coming from Jersey, where we get that sort of culture. I think being a leader too is to understand people's behaviors, right? And patterns, which is a big thing, right? And when you understand that some people are not meant to be salespeople, they're meant to be, process
operations.
oriented. Operations. They'll kill it. And we did
they wouldn't say hello to the guy next to them at the bar, but they'll crush your.
They'll crush your numbers.
Yeah, they'll crush your operations, or they'll do something else that's really imperative to a company.
And I think that's important when you're studying and you're leading a team. The same thing when we go, like the Marines. This guy might be great at, getting the first door, a great shot. This other guy might be good. So using people's strengths, I think, as part of the leaders, identifying them and
what drives them.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone has weaknesses, right? And I think that's fair, and it's okay.
Yeah, I have many of them. Yeah. And I've tried to. This is just a really good conversation, so it's not about me, but I try to make it conversational around a fire. But I've tried to document my journey since I started all this and show people my imperfections. Yeah. And not get up here and whine. Yeah. Not get up here and say, woe is me. Not looking for empathy strategically to get business, because that's done all the fucking time. Correct. Who can cry the loudest on social media? It's to show other strong people who may have egos and not recognize their blind spots that it's okay to admit you're wrong. Correct. It's okay. You're on this journey. Everybody's at a different stage of it. Correct. And I think that in itself is really powerful leadership.
100%.
Putting yourself out there, and being vulnerable.
It is, Ryan's taking that ego out of your back pocket, right? And something as an entrepreneur and as a leader, you gotta take full responsibility, right? When, how my teammates...
I'm good at catching.
Thank you. When things go wrong, I take full responsibility for that. When my client isn't happy,
I didn't set you up to win.
Yeah. Whether it's a bad hire or whatever, I'm just putting out in general, bad hire, or the client didn't feel that experience. As an entrepreneur, you have to put the ego in the back pocket and be like, I take full responsibility for that, because guess what? I probably didn't write the process, or I didn't have it there, or we didn't have.
Didn't train them long enough.
Didn't train them well, and when there's fuck-ups in our company, and every company has them, me and my partner, Patrick, we look at each other and be like, whose fault is that, right? Yeah. And we look at each other and like, it's ours. And we're like, but that's what's the beauty about being an entrepreneur and doing that journey. It's like, you gotta fail forward. You have to fail.
And you also gotta recognize that your team does fuck up too.
Yeah, correct.
And, you may get frustrated with them. You may get frustrated with them.
Yeah.
But they get opportunity to get a second pass and a third pass,
Correct.
and even a 10th pass if they've been loyal and put in the work and trying to improve.
Correct.
There's a lot of different aspects of leadership. It's not easy.
It's not.
Do you think people are naturally born leaders, or they can be taught it?
I think they'd be taught it, right? I think it's more of a nurture, how you grow up. I think about that old, it's like an Indian saying where it's like an eagle's raised with the chickens, and it's just the eagle soaring, and the young eagle that's raised with the chickens, like, oh, I want to be like that, but it's just his environment, right? And leadership wasn't for me; it was just forged through fire, which I appreciate wholeheartedly. Yeah. But you can't be a natural born leader. There's no way. You have to be growing up in the environment. That's why us as fathers, we're creating new leaders for new generations. So teaching them values, teaching them respect and things like that, because hopefully as fathers, we raise a new generation of leaders, right?
Yeah. It's that's another tough job, right? I want to make my son tough enough to know that the world is cruel and cold, and I don't think being cynical is great. I think being aware is important as well. Drake has a line in one of his songs. He goes, "I don't think being humble is as good as being aware." And there's some truth to that. Yeah. And I try to really instill in my son, hey, there's someone that will grab you at the end of this driveway if you're not by mommy and daddy. Yeah. Hey, someone will pick on you in school. Be able to defend yourself. I rough him up a lot. Yeah. And then I also know it's extremely important to love on him and give him those things.
It's very hard at that age, right? My son's doing BJJ, and I'm teaching him. They're like, don't hit. But when you go there, it's like, you're okay to train. I'm trying to.
Colton gets in trouble at school. He's got a friend in his class that he fights with at jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So they're beating the shit at each other, and he has two older teachers that are sweethearts. Yeah. And they're like, yeah. Every day they're out on the jungle gym fucking each other up. Yeah, my son tackled the kid because he grabbed the ball, right? And I'm like, can't be doing that, right? But you gotta train. It's the discipline. Yeah, I agree. So being there's times in my life where I popped off and had an anger, and I would have got my ass kicked. Especially nowadays, you don't know who the hell trains jiu-jitsu. And anybody out there who thinks I'm gonna see red and I'm just gonna beat the shit out of someone, dude. These jiu-jitsu people will put you in a leg lock so fast and snap your fucking ankle off you don't even know what happened, or put you in some random choke, arm bar, whatever it is. And then a lot of them train hands. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there, and what I have discovered is the guy who's been taught a mixed martial art his whole life, he's confident. Yeah. He's not nervous when he walks in a room. He may not even demand respect, right? Yeah. A lot of people walk in and they have presence. But when things go down, they're the people that you want to be around. And it's something I want my son to have. I want him to really know how to defend himself. I want him to have the confidence that comes with that. And I think being a good father and leader, it's important. And I see a lot of fucking soft kids nowadays. A lot of soft kids. I was in the sauna today, and there was two kids, and I had my one earbud out. My buddy was talking to me, and he left. And the kid's like, "Yeah, I don't want to work there anymore. People are so needy." And he was working at a high-end restaurant. I don't know where it was exactly. And I said, "Dude, can I jump in for a second?" I said, if you want to make good money, work at a high-end restaurant and offer superior service. You got this twisted, bro. No one offers you shit. What else are you going to do? Yeah, correct. And it's a generation of soft people who, I don't know if our generation before us felt so guilty in some type of way because they had so hard. They had the generation of some World War II parents and
Vietnam,
the Depression, all those things. And I think it's important for men. There's so many suicides in young men. There's so many suicides, especially in the veteran community. Yeah. So many suicides in married men with families because of the pressure that's on a man. Teach your kid to be forged through fire at a young age. Correct. So life is, I'm not saying it's going to be peaches, but they can deal with a lot of stuff as they go.
Correct. Yeah, you gotta be able to learn how to take the punches in the face and keep keep, marching
Get up.
forward.
Yeah.
And get up, right? The Rocky movie, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up.
Your humility is something that radiates off you. You're also very strategic.
Yeah.
You know a lot of people. The way you drop names, I watch people. So you're aware. I could tell you're probably very aware of your staff.
Correct.
And that's why you guys have grown so fast. To have 60 people around the country that I'm sure are different type of consultants. I don't know how if they're full-time employees, how you guys hire them. That's a large business to do in a mobile cigar lounge. That's huge.
And shout out to them. Something, we have a joke, right? Where, they all smoke cigars. They love drinking.
Yeah.
And the joke is, I get paid for this, It's like you go to a wedding, you go to an event, and you're enjoying drinks, you're meeting great people. Number one thing that we look at, too, it's not just our core values, it's like the charisma that they bring, because we're just not there. If you just want a cigar and cutters and lighters, then just get that. But if you want an experience, you want people that are tobacconists, that know about cigars, that are, there's many times where I'm in the wedding and they're just like, oh, please have a drink with us, celebrate and stuff. We just bring that sort of experience to that particular event, and I think that's super important.
Yeah, I got to see it firsthand.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, you guys did an excellent job. All the pre-rolled cigars, you white labeled it with Fireside.
Yeah.
The way they were stacked on the table, the matches, the attention to detail. Yeah. You again are an excellent, communicator. You're working the room and making sure everybody's enjoying themselves, and it was impressive to watch. A lot of times you end up hiring a food truck or something like that to be an extra add-on to your event, and you're like, you're doing the job for these people, or you're directing them, and it's like, well, I hired you. You should know how to plug in here.
Correct.
You guys did an excellent job. So
yeah, thank you, Ryan, and shout out to Ruben, who's a Navy vet and a firefighter and EMT here in Jersey. His wife works with us. She's part of the sales team, and she helps leads it. But
Ruben who was with us that night?
Yes, that was Ruben.
Yeah, he was really good.
He's actually on a job right now, so shout out to Ruben.
Yeah, Ruben, keep hustling, brother.
Yeah, keep hustling.
But this is a part of the job, and that's that's the thing nowadays. Again, I'll blast social media in people's face all day. Like, you need to do this as the leader. Yeah. Like, you got to get out there, get your brand out there. We have a fairly large ecosystem. I didn't buy my followers; they're all organic.
Love it. Yeah.
And just the pit alone now knows you, and those people are going to have events, their own parties, sweet 16s, weddings. Oh, I got a guy.
Yeah. It's also
Johnny Mac.
Yeah,
Mac Attack.
The Mac
is
Attack.
back.
It's also too that we share some same values too, because we were just talking beforehand.
Being a veteran-owned company is big for me. I like to support that. I feel good about it.
And I appreciate that, right? It's, we belong to a veteran nonprofit that helps, called Bunker Labs, that helps veteran and spouse-led.
Bunker Labs?
Bunker Labs, yeah. And they've helped with businesses growing as entrepreneurs, and that's my community, man. When I get with them,
is that like the JP Morgan program?
So the JP Morgan program is.
Let's take a quick break, and I want to get into that.
Okay.
So I think it's cool. I want other veterans that may be watching, and we have a lot of veterans that watch, know about it. So take a quick break.
Okay.
So jumping back in, this program that you reference, you can only be in it if you're a veteran or a spouse of a veteran, male or female. And it was actually a program launched by JP Morgan. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so Bunker Labs, they're now with IVMF, with Syracuse University. But it was a great program where they have kind of like an incubator, let's call it. And when you start off, it could go from idea to maybe under $150,000 in revenue. And those are great ways to talk about like social media, what should you do, and grow your business and start it off. Now, so I did that, and then going to CEO Circle, there's like a little revenue kind of like criteria.
Barrier to entry.
Yeah, barrier to entry, which is great because the difference is, as you know, talking from a person who's doing under 100,000 to now talking people doing like 800 to a million plus.
Yeah.
The conversations are different. We're not talking about like, should I do social media? It's more like, what strategic marketing
They're not
should
even
I
asking
do?
how much it really is.
Correct.
That will come up, but it's like,
Yeah.
I just want to get there, and I have
Yeah.
the resources to do so.
Correct.
You know, people come in for one-on-one coaching, and I'll turn people down because it's 10 grand.
Yeah.
Besides our group, that's $297 a month, which is, we have great coaches in there, all different personalities, walks of life, businesses. You know, my partner manages 1.5 billion with Merrill. He's kind of our entrepreneur expert, and real estate guys, and it's easy 10 grand all day long.
Yeah.
But for 3 months, you get me for 10 grand for one call a week, and you have access to my email, and questions or problems arise, you're able to reach out to me. But when I vet them, I try to figure out their cash flow situation fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Because if I'm giving you action steps to take and you don't have the ability to spend any money on them, it doesn't mean you can't do things.
Yeah.
You're just not going to be able to be fast tracked in 3 months. And then at the end of that 3 months, you're going to be like, I didn't go anywhere, right? And, you know, having a barrier to entry is extremely important.
Yeah. And I like the barrier to entry because it gives like the quality of people that are in it too, because
does it cost you anything to be a part of it?
No, it's all volunteer, and what I love about being in the cohort is when I talk to a fellow veteran, right? We have that equalizer. Like we're vets, so the first thing we say is like, oh, what branch?
Mutual
what do you
respect.
do? Mutual respect, and we understand each other. And then being an entrepreneur, another second level that I love, and then we start just talking business. And I think it's more transparent in the veteran entrepreneur space. I mean, from my perspective, because I can sit down and be like, brother, you don't have to be, you know, very transparent, but I just want to ask questions of like how you run your sales team, what kind of strategies are you using for, you know, for incentives and stuff like that, and what kind of numbers are you doing? And they're like, yeah, no problem, bro, because it's kind of like helping me out there.
People like
them
to
out.
turn around and help.
Yeah.
Naturally, I think most people do.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing, right? And something that one of my alumni, he's currently the president of the university, General Broadmeadow from the Marine Corps, he goes, you could do three things. You could volunteer your time, your treasure, or your talent.
Yeah.
Right, and that's, as we talk about it, you know, when you move to that next level on the point, you look down and you're like, what are the three things I could give back? My treasure, my time, or my talent? And those are three equalizers that could help out someone from, you know, going from behind. Because how I got here was from mentors, from coaches.
Oh, all day.
All day. You know, I grew
spent
up in
$100
mentor
grand
coaches.
coaching last year.
Oh, you know, it's when you invest in that. I think we did around like 50 grand last year.
You gotta invest in it.
Oh, 100%.
Because sometimes if it's free, you don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
If you're a super motivated person, you do, right? Something niche like the veteran community. You guys are all in that fight together.
Oh, I take it advantage like
I have
crazy.
a question. The kid Jason mentioned it, that he's had a lot of problems with veteran business owners who's also taken advantage of people. Do you run into that where, you know, like, oh, I'm a veteran, and, you know, the people give them the business and then they maybe don't have the full skill set to execute the project or the job, and a lot of, you know, not so much acts of valor, but just...
They don't bring it. They don't bring it.
you know, so he said it can go for you or against you.
Yeah. I think it was just any, like being a leader is also being a representative, right? I'm representing different walks of life, right? Coming from Jersey, first generation, Filipino, you know, minority, veteran.
You have a lot of things to be a legacy for.
Correct. And also to hopefully inspire someone to be like, you can do it too. And so when people work with us, and this is how my partners and I talk about this, we want to be a beacon to be like, if you work with us, we're the standard of how every other disabled veteran business that you're going to work with, right? And Jason said that, and I agree, because unfortunately it gets tarnished by people that can't bring it, right?
Did you watch the whole podcast?
I watched different segments of it. Yeah.
He also said that the Marines were the gay guys on the Navy boat.
I mean, we're very homoerotic, you know? So, but that's just being bros, you know?
He had a funny line, and I don't know what we were talking about. I said, oh, they want to go to the War and Bang, He goes, oh, there was a lot of banging. And I said, what do you mean? He's like banging. Like, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of chicks on the boat? He's like, no, like a lot of guys. I'm like intercourse? Like, it was very funny, moment of the podcast.
Yeah, there's jokes around, especially if veterans are watching. The Marines are pretty homoerotic, right? Even though we're supposed to be like these, when other countries view us, we're like these warmongers, right?
Yeah.
Disciplined, but at the same time, like, to cope with the stresses, there's something that's a little dark in every one of us. That in the Marines, that's how we show our stress. It'd be like, yeah, dude, let me give you a hug, a mouth hug. Yeah, man, I call some of my guys and other military vets and people who know me that are watching this. They know that I say things, but it's funny to me, you know. So
you don't mean it in any disrespectful way.
No.
Yeah.
I show it more of a loving way.
Yeah. Listen, hey.
Yeah.
Gotta love on your people.
Yeah,
whatever they need.
That's how we cope with it. Laughing, right? Comedy. So yeah, that's how we do it.
So the program that's attached to JP Morgan, what is JP Morgan's role? Do they mainly fund and house the events, and they host for a year, you said?
Yeah, they fund the hosting, right, area that we go. We're usually in some sort of like campus. They bring in experts from different fields, the speakers in different fields that come in and talk business, high level. We've had the CEO of JP Morgan talk to us, and he talked like pretty well. Like, he was one of my favorite speakers because you just got to hear the rawness.
Well, he's Jamie Dimon, bro.
Yeah, Jamie. That's Uncle Jaime, as they call him. But it was just great just to hear different speakers and different perspectives. But essentially, it's not just those meetings are important. It's the connections that you make out of those meetings.
Oh, it's everything.
Yeah, everything, right? I'm not going there just to, I want to meet someone new. I want to develop a relationship and understand that person. Because I've met some incredible people in that program where we've chatted. We took like, hey man, can we chat for like 30 minutes on like a webcam and just talk business?
Yep.
Because we understand each other. And I could take one nugget and that changes my whole business trajectory in like, in one 30-minute saying.
I have bad ADHD.
Yeah.
So when I'm at an event that, I'm attending, it's hard for me to sit there for 8 hours and just listen to all of the information. It's a lot to take in. And I do retain fast, but I could be bored fast. And some of the best financial conferences I've been to, because that's my background, was the drinks after. Just sitting there with somebody who was senior to me and doing a different level of production and had a whole team and all of those things. I remember we were sitting at this bar and this gentleman drew this thing called an exponential curve. And he kind of explained, 7 to 10 years, the money takes off and every advisor kind of works up in that realm, take more risk, make more money, your curve sharpens, you go from 5 million to 10 million. He was like, I work on the bottom side of the curve, which is the cost side, which is taxes, lost opportunity costs, lawsuits, fees, etc. I said, oh, that was like super powerful. Yeah. And like that next week, I was in New York City. I was sitting next to a doctor across the street from Madison Square Garden. I drew that cost curve and booked a meeting.
Yeah, you're like
I got that on a napkin, drinking at the hotel lobby bar.
Yeah,
it wasn't even at the $3,000 conference I went to, or from any of the speakers. So being able to connect with the people that are attending those events, extremely important. I want to dive deeper, like into your business.
Okay.
You have 60 people. Are those all 1099s?
All W-2s.
All W-2s?
Yeah.
Is it all commission-based predominantly?
So on my sales team, I call them a concierge team, they're commission-based with a little bit of a salary. So they do that. Most of our field team, it's pretty much like a set hourly rate. So when they travel from their house to an event, so we're paying them from door to door. And then they get tips, right? Tips is awesome because, on their performance, they usually get great tips.
Yeah.
Especially at weddings, private parties. I've been to so many events where, I come in not expecting it, and all of a sudden, they're handing you like $100, $300, and they're like, hey man, thanks so much for making it worth it. And that's, for me, that's just a standard.
People are willing to give you a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you just do your job.
it's such an easy concept that not a lot of people understand.
Well, that was like those young kids in the sauna. Going back to them, it was like, oh, these people are so needy. I'm like, they're coming to an expensive restaurant. They probably have a hefty bill. There's 6 people there. It's easily over, $800 to $1,200.
Yeah.
Depending on how much drinks they have, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
To a lot of people, no matter how successful you are or not.
Right.
And if you're sitting there with an attitude on your face, and you're like mad, I'm asking for another bourbon, or mad because the bourbon I asked you for, I didn't want dark cherries, or I didn't want the red cherries. You gave me, something I did not want. Like I'm going to ask for that to be changed.
Correct.
And I shouldn't be shunned for it.
Correct.
I see a lot of small business owners, like things like the coffee shops and other stuff. Like they're so jammed and busy, they're just like nasty.
Yeah.
Aren't you excited and happy that you have business?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's an entitlement thing that's going on in the shift in this country, or what it is, but in your style of industry, especially dealing with weddings, brides, very stressed out males.
Yeah.
You got to go there and like put your best foot forward. Be patient.
Absolutely.
And if you do it, people will definitely reward you for it.
And it's so crazy because like our standards are like, for me, it's normal. For other people, it might be over the top. But because I'm raised in, whether it's sports or music or the Marine Corps, I've been raised. Oh yeah, I was a band geek.
Yeah, band?
Hell yeah, alto sax, let's go. And piano. I'm Asian, bro. I was taught that.
The parents started having you play at 4, right? Yeah. This is gonna get into college.
Yeah, this is gonna make it happen.
It's like every immigrant family has like these core things, right?
Yeah.
Education is huge.
Yeah.
For a lot of them, a few of our last guests had all mentioned that same topic, which is funny.
Yeah.
All parents were first generation.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's cool to see the different cultures.
Yeah, for me, it's like my mom, raised me single mom, and she like brought me on those things. She worked very hard, and for me, that showed me like working hard is a big thing.
Work ethic.
Yeah, work ethic. And then she, put me into these different programs, and I played sports, did music, and she was working at one point like 3 to 4 jobs, but she would still attend my games or my concerts or something like that, which is super appreciative. Yeah. And I want to make sure I carry that to my son, because I want to make sure that we appreciate him and the hard work that he's putting through, because at the end of the day, it's kind of an investment for us as fathers.
Oh, absolutely.
To do that. But it's...
What's work ethic mean to you?
A lot.
Like if you were to break it down, what's it? How does it show up for you emotionally, mentally?
Man, that's a multifaceted thing, right? Work ethic, physically, mentally, you could be drawn in different pieces, right? And work ethic, I think it's how fast you could. I think work ethic is how fast you can get shit done and put out fires. Mm-hmm. And if you have that like mentality, like a good friend.
You have that gear when the pressure's on.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think that separates business owners and leaders. It's you identify it and you start. I'm not staring at why it's on fire. I'm like, how can we put it out quickly and fast as possible?
Well, we want to leave this thing on.
Yeah, this one's on. But
it's contained.
Yeah, it's contained. But yeah, it's just how fast you could put out fires and how fast you can make decisions.
Yeah, to me too, and I agree with all that. It's a dad sacrificing his body. It's a mother sacrificing her body.
Yeah.
It's a parent sacrificing their hobbies and lifestyle they had prior to having you. Because I see it with my own kids, right?
Yeah.
Kelly and I traveled a lot before we had kids, and we still try to do that.
Yeah.
It's important for us to have date night and get away on the weekend. Like when we get away, the last time, one of the last times we went away, besides the mountains, because our kids come with us all winter, I was down in Jupiter right before the winter.
Yeah.
And I think it was like we were there for 4 or 5 days. I think it was like the second day we were there. We just like laid in bed literally from the time we woke up, 6 or 7 o'clock. You kind of have an automatic alarm clock when you have kids.
Yeah.
And ordered room service that was way too expensive, and watched some dumbass movies and just sat there. And it was just like, we just have no kids right now. It's such a.
I love it.
It's such a. It's a good reminder. I think you take advantage of it until you have children, and then when you're able to get those 4 or 5 hours for date night, or you're able to get away for 4 or 5 days, it's special.
It's golden moments. Yeah. And what I love about, because we're going in our 6th year, right, this September, it's now when I go travel, like I've taken my son to Maryland on the job. We get a hotel with a pool.
Seeing it all.
Yeah, so I want him, because my mom took me around and traveled a lot. We took him to the Dominican Republic this year, but letting him go and travel and he's going to the Philippines in January, that's going to be a great cultural shock for him.
And Caleb is how old again?
He just turned 5 in April.
5, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're really starting to take the world in.
Correct.
Yeah,
and I think that's
son.
important, right? It's not, walking in other people. It's walking in other people's shoes that I think is important, because you get to understand, like, one is to know what you have here, right? And appreciation, and that humility, and being like, I should be thankful I have hot water today, that we could drink water, that we could turn on the lights.
Yeah, a lot of people in America forget how fucking great of an opportunity we have.
Correct. And that's why traveling, I think, is a huge thing. Culturally, it's just seeing where people go, how they live, and I think that's the beauty in it. Yeah.
Extremely important.
Yeah.
And the work ethic thing, I kind of went off track slightly, but like the sacrifice, like the dad doesn't really want to become very heavy. And yes, of course, there's decisions of his food, and I know the people that are entrepreneurs and everybody who, loves to claim to be a fitness guru online will say different, but majority of dads that are working a job or two and putting in 40 to 65 hours a week, plus being a dad or trying to be a coach, like their health goes on the back burner. You ever see that picture? It's a dad. I think there may be a video to it, but it's a dad and a son. And the dad is taking a square cube, like you would almost out of like the Jenga game, without it falling. And the dad's taking a cube and putting it into his son.
Yeah.
And like, that's what you do. I mean, it's such a selfless thing.
Correct.
And when you're working that hard for your family, you're sacrificing everything that's important to you. My dad always drove a shitty ass car. My mom had a new one. My mom drove the kids around, right? So we wanted to make sure we were safe. My dad definitely was a very unhealthy person.
Yeah.
On the road all the time, eating on the truck. Those guys aren't grabbing a salad. They're grabbing a Hershey bar and a hoagie from Wawa or whatever deli's close by if, they're in the middle of nowhere. So work ethic is so important to me. And my work ethic is different than my dad's. My dad had the work ethic where he had to get up and go on the truck, and then he plowed snow in the winter for Farrell's Landscaping. He drove in the summer for Farrell's on the side, dump emulsion rock and clean offices, at times. So the guy had 3 jobs at times. So for me, I run a company which finances my main income driver, and then I own the pit. I run Fireside. I have a logistics partnership as well as Patriot Payments, which is our credit card processing business. So his work ethic transferred over to me. I just learned from his wrongs.
Correct.
Right? And I wanted something more. Not that I'm not appreciative of what I had. I'm extremely grateful, because people had it much, much worse than I.
Yeah.
But work ethic is something I think the fucking generation nowadays completely lacks. And that's due to the internet. As powerful as it is, as good as social media is, it's also really bad for young people because they see these things and it's just not real life.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like for us, I could tell that we probably listen and watch the same people.
Yeah, sure.
And then for some people, they use it and they just watch, mindless things.
Or they just watch it.
Yeah.
Or there's the success monsters.
Yeah.
They just listen to Andy Frisella over and over and over. I'm like, bro, are you gonna fucking do something?
Action.
75 hard is not gonna get you. It's not gonna get you rich.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you did it. I'm glad that you found that discipline, that meeting rhythm, that cadence. That's good.
Yeah.
It is important, but you actually have to go do something in your job.
That's I think another factor, right? Taking action, putting out fires, finding solutions, taking action. Because it's just like those things, it's things I've learned in the military and in sports. You either watch it or you got to do what you need to do. Yeah, you
Man in the arena.
Yeah, man. Great quote, right?
Yep.
It's one of my favorite quotes that I enjoy reading. But yeah, you have to be in the arena to make it happen. And not saying that people aren't if you're not built for it, it's okay.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not built for it, it's okay. If you think that living in your means, it's okay. But that for you and I, it's not something that, you know, I don't want to be.
Yeah, I'm moving to this house, and it's a big jump for us. And dude, I've literally drove myself crazy.
Yeah.
As well as my wife, going back and forth. They're like, yeah, why don't we move out to Cranberry or somewhere else that's like got the land we want, but then it's away from everything we have built here. My business and the way I designed this all and the way I've leveraged social media.
Yeah.
I, essentially was able to work from Windham Mountain all winter long while I made memories with my family and my friends. Our friends would come up, Matt, his family would come up, and kids would go out, and Matt had the opportunity to go skiing and snowboarding with his kids, and my wife and son's learning these lessons, and I'm able to go live the life I'm able to do because of these things that I put in place. And I want more people to be able to know how to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it can be done at different levels. Again, your definition of success or financial freedom is different than mine.
Correct.
But I'm not somebody to settle. I just can't.
I can't. Same here.
I just can't. And I've always been like, and a little bit of religious people have, and I don't want to generalize, but like money's bad. Everything money is great. That's not true. I know a lot of really, really, really sweet, genuine, caring, charitable, wealthy people.
Yeah.
That fund random kids college in their town, and
Yeah,
very heavy, into charity and so on.
Yeah, the people that say money is the root of all of evil, I always go back, no.
People are the root of all evil.
Yes, and what money does, it magnifies who you are as a person. Yeah, and you know what's worse than having money is not having money at all.
Yeah,
So
being broke sucks.
Yeah. So where do you stand in between that? And going back to financial freedom is another word for I could look at as opportunities. Opportunities to be able to, for us, have our kids do BJJ, to do lessons. Same thing with Caleb. He's doing some snowboarding.
Yeah, the lessons are expensive, man.
It's not cheap, bro.
Yeah.
For the parents out there, it's not cheap to do this, especially if you're trying to do a sport.
I mean, dude, we go up to the mountain and it's like myself, my wife, some food. I'm not gonna lie, I get some bourbons while I'm sitting there. The passes, it's quickly $1,000 day for a four-person family. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And but I want to give those memories to my kids.
Correct.
And I do believe you keep saying opportunity. I do believe every single motherfucker in this country can go find opportunity.
Correct.
It may be harder for you at first. It may take you longer.
Yeah.
But if you continue to stay on that track and put yourself in the right rooms, the power of proximity is so fucking huge. You have The Pit, you have Limitless Society, you have CCV, Rob Bailey's group, you have the Tony Robbins, the Grant Cardones, you have all of these, which I think are going to be the future college, personally. In the next 25 years,
I agree. Yeah.
I think half the colleges would be out of business because they're sick and tired of the bullshit they're teaching their kids. Your kid's going to go to college and he becomes a Marxist, communist, or joins the jihad. So, I'm not down with that.
Yeah.
So my kids probably won't be going to college unless they want to be a doctor, engineer.
Correct.
Or,
Which is, I get it.
Yeah,
right?
I get it.
I get it.
I got some great friends that are extremely
nurse.
successful doctors, engineers, but it's a it's just a weird thing, and it's just it's a part of it all.
Yeah, I think when I've learned so much in sales, it was like going to college, but college doesn't teach you how to do like selling right on the spot. Sales it's fun for me. It's chess, right? It's how what you say when you say it, understanding the person, listening is a big thing.
But also being genuine in that, right?
100%.
Because even the way you're saying that can come off as, oh, well, he's just tactful.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a lot of tactful people.
Correct.
I'm tactful too, but I'll blow right through tact real quick if I feel a certain way about you. You're always going to know where you stand with me. And listen, that's me, and that's hurt me in business too.
Yeah.
But I want people to know, like, you get full Ryan. I show up as Ryan. I'm genuine. Again, direct, like I said earlier, and that's me.
Correct.
But sales is a really, really, really cool job.
Correct.
And if you're somebody that doesn't want to own a business, you want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really, really wealthy entrepreneurs out there that
I agree.
rode up the corporate ladder, and they're sitting on $25 million right now.
And they're fucking killing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Life is good.
And that's why I always say, it's like, if you're trying to be an entrepreneur and if you can't cut with the hustle, it's okay.
Yeah.
That it's not built out.
It's pressure.
Yeah. Like, I like to say entrepreneurs are people who are, they're non-hireable, right? Because our minds are different.
Rebels.
Yeah. Exactly. Our minds are constantly like, what we can do better.
You're challenging the current status quo.
Correct.
Or you just say, hey, I want to do this different.
Yeah.
You can't tell me I can't do it different.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, we have to go up the chain. It's like, fuck that.
Yep.
I want to,
Financial services. I had a serious, my serious license. It goes through FINRA, the SEC. And we were very, very regulated on what we can do on social media. Extremely. And I have 2 older partners that were in their late 50s. And I started to do social media, and right away our lawyers are on us, compliance. They're shutting down my stuff. They're canceling things, and I'm like, guys, like you are absolutely like missing the window here. You're dropping the ball. This is like the gold rush where people were just grabbing land, but this is in the metaverse, and eventually it'll be so damn flooded in 10, 15 years. It will be something new. Like there's never been such a great opportunity. And I played their game for so long, and then when COVID hit, I was like, my livelihood was based around meeting people for coffee, lunch, drinks, golf course, a cigar. Dude, I don't have that luxury now, and I got a young family. Like, fuck you, I'm going full bore on social media. And over the last 3 years, actually this December, I dropped my investment license. I moved over my investment clients to other partners in a firm that are just as good, if not better than me.
Gotcha.
And I went all in on this and turning around and helping the next guy or girl online.
Nice.
We do a lot of tax and pension planning still.
Gotcha.
I do a lot with overfunded life insurance, but that whole journey I went through was challenging the status quo, right? It's like, don't reinvent the wheel. Fuck that, why not?
Oh.
If that wheel sucks, like I want to make a better wheel.
Correct. And that's sometimes the troubling part when you're not under good leadership, where they're settled. Yeah. And they're like, no, dude.
Well, they're on the 5-yard line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they're just like, hey, man, just
coast.
Just coast. And I'm like, but bro, like, let me work. Let me cook, right? That's a new thing.
It's challenging. It's fun.
Yeah. But that's why being an entrepreneur, I've been doing this full time now for about 3 years now. It's been a great journey. And
you sit on the board at the school as well still, right?
Yeah. So I'm on the Norwich University Alumni Association, so I'm the first vice president for it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. It's giving back to our alumni, and I get to work with different generations, and the school has been around since 1819, and that's like
pretty cool.
Almost over 200 years.
History.
Yeah, a lot of history.
So talking about your events, obviously, weddings, things like a networking event, you guys came for us. What's some different events that people wouldn't think, hey, call up the Mobile Cigar Lounge?
I mean, we've done some. What's
some of the most wild?
Well, some bachelor parties are wild. We've done some. I like the baby reveal, because now it's because it used to be separate. Now it's like joint, but it's something for the dads. Yeah. And I love that. We've done some memories.
You mean we get to do something at the wedding, or the baby event, or the engagement?
Yeah, I love.
I think the engagement was the last thing I was allowed to plan something because she wasn't allowed to know.
But those are some things. Memorable ones are definitely like, we've had some clients and some couples. They got cigars because of a lost family member, whether it's a brother and a thing. And we make it customizable, but like they would ask us, hey, do you mind if we put a picture up for my father or for my brother who passed away, but he's known or she's known for cigar smoking? Absolutely, you know. That's part of it. That's the reason why I smoke cigars, is because I got it from the military. It's about that camaraderie. It's about building those memories, and a lot of it has just. It's the event space that we're delivering this experience, but also it's super fun. Yeah, people are great.
And obviously, you're doing barbecues, sweet 16s,
pig roasts. Man, everything under the sun, bar mitzvahs, people that want to, essentially why we started this company is like, we want to celebrate, like the ultra meaning of why we started this is to celebrate life. Mm-hmm. Because when we smoked cigars, when we were overseas, myself, Patrick, and Miley, when we got these cigars shipped to us, and it's called a smoke pit. Look, not as nice as this, but you would have sandbags and you would have cigarettes or tobacco. You kind of forgot where you were.
Yep.
And you just dealt with the now and appreciative of what you have, right? Especially when you're being 18, 19 years old. You know, I always see that quote, how does it feel to be 18 to write your own will when you join the military, right? And when you're there, you're like, okay, let me appreciate what I have now. And that's what we do. Ultimately, we want to celebrate life.
And that's in segueing into more of the veterans. You're pretty involved with getting sticks back overseas to veterans.
Yeah.
Tell us how our viewers can help contribute to that.
Yeah, so we have a nonprofit arm called the Patriots of the Leaf. So we have monthly meetings, we do events.
Where are the events typically at?
They're usually at cigar lounges because we like to support cigar lounges. Sometimes we've done elk lodges that donate their space for us. Cigar lounges that donate their space for us because we bring 30, 40 members there and we smoke cigars. Because ultimately, this is the vessel, right?
Yeah.
The opportunities, the camaraderie here.
Yeah.
And right now we have some great events going on. Next week we have a potluck and cigar trade. Then we're going to do Jaws on the Lake at Lake Hopatcong near my house. We just want to build that camaraderie. That's what we miss.
Where are you now? Where are you living now?
I'm in Hopatcong, New Jersey.
Hopatcong, yeah.
Yeah, so Sussex County.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and we do that at events. We want to plan a whitewater rafting trip. It's about the camaraderie. Cigars is what brings us together, that foundation of being a veteran and
It's an experience, man.
I agree. And that's what I love about the passion behind this whole company is we're so passionate about it because we know the power behind it.
Yeah. And then when you're on, stage and you're the one presenting it, you're not enjoying it as much because you're there to work, but you know that experience that you like to feel on the other side of it when you're that passionate about creating that special time, that moment, that camaraderie.
Correct.
And again, I literally am not being overly nice to you. I'm a pretty honest guy. You did an excellent job as well as Ruben.
Yeah.
And it's we could keep saying it over and over again, but even to sit around a fire pit with a cigar with a buddy who had some marital issues or trouble with business, or a health scare.
Yeah.
And there's been many times that I've sat around here, especially during COVID, and it was like my wife and her family from Long Island, some close friends, and we weren't allowed to go anywhere. We were on lockdown, a fake ass lockdown. They made us think we were on lockdown, and we sit around this pit here.
Yeah.
And enjoy some drinks together and some laughs and some cries and watching our kids grow. And there was always cigars around my fire pit.
Memories.
Yeah, memories, dude.
I love
cigars up in the mountains. The mountains is something I love. My wife loves. My kids love. My friends love. There is no lack of cigars while we're there.
Correct. And what is it? It's just bunched up leaves put together, right? Basically, you could take $15, $20, roll it up, and this is what it is. But it's just that. And capturing those memories, man, that are super important, priceless.
You know what's so funny about cigar smoking, and I've been smoking cigars for a long time now. I still am not a cigar expert. I'm not a savant, right? And same thing with red wine. I've been blessed in finance that the wholesalers want to earn your business, and I go to some of the fanciest restaurants, and they're busting out this bottle of wine I would never buy myself. And I remember a good bottle here and there. Same thing with cigars. I'm trying different things. Hey, Ryan, what do you typically smoke? Yeah, I know Connecticut. I know mild. I can say some general terms, but there also is a lot to cigars.
Correct.
Talk about some of those layers, the leaves, the different regions, where the tobacco comes from.
So something I like to equate it is, what do you like? Do you like, whether you like steaks, wines, beers, bourbon, right? Different regions, just like cigars, different regions, different flavor profiles. You got the heavy hitters from Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Costa Rica.
Why? Why does the regions matter? I'm sure just like wine, it has something to do with what was there prior, how deep the roots go, and what's in the soil.
All the above, right? Because of the line that goes around, it's top of my head, that temperature and that soil is just great of where great tobacco is going to be from, right? You know, people always talk about Cuban tobacco. A lot of them after Cuban Revolution went to different places and experimented with the soil, the plants, and I think that's super important. But yeah, it's just like any wine or beer, the region, the taste, and as you know, there's so many cigars I haven't tasted yet. Even for me, I'm not even an expert.
So many lines.
So many bourbons, so many wines, so many meats, right? So yeah, it's a lot.
Which is cool too.
Yeah, it's cool. It makes it fun. It makes it interesting.
Yeah.
When someone hands me a cigar that I've never smoked before, I want to try it out.
You're like, huh.
Right? Yeah, let me taste it.
Even tonight, Brick House is one of your brands that you've partnered with.
Correct.
Really good stick.
Yeah.
Someone could hand me a Cuban cigar, and
Yeah.
I may know that it's really good, but I may not even know it's a Cuban, right? I couldn't sit there and say, oh, this is this versus that, right? In wine, I got pretty decent one knowing like a Pinot versus a Cab. But cigars are, they're not all made equally, but they all are just a cigar.
Correct.
You said that before.
Yeah, and a cigar is just a cigar, and I take it, there's this line that Italians say, like, what's your favorite wine? And they go, the one in front of me, right?
Yeah.
And I always get asked this question, especially being in the industry, what's your favorite cigar? What's your favorite stick? And I go, I would rather have $1 stick with great company than a $500 cigar
Alone.
with shit company.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that just shows that this is just kind of like...
It's a community thing.
Correct, yeah. And, I'm one of those guys that I could probably count the times in my hands I've actually smoked by myself. Probably was celebrating something, but I usually celebrate with some, I smoke with people around and stuff.
Yeah, it's with somebody.
Yeah.
At least it is one other person. What is the most expensive cigar you sell?
It was probably like a Padron, a $70, $80 one. And then my really good friend, Ryan Pascarella, he works for our company too. He gave me a cigar for my son's birthday 5 years ago. And it was a very expensive cigar. I think if you could find it, it's around $200-$300.
Did you smoke it?
I smoked it when my son was born.
How was it?
So it's a 20-year-old cigar. It was very mild because flavor and taste kind of like lose its tone like slowly every year. But it was just like a memorable thing. And some of the first cigars I ever smoked with my friends, whether it's graduation, whether it's in Iraq, I always say I might not remember the cigar I smoked, but I always remember the people I smoked it with.
Yeah.
And that's important.
I mean, think about how many weddings. I mean, just random weddings that you meet some buddies. You don't know a ton of people there, and there's now 5 new buddies you meet because they all took the cigars and went out on the deck. And it's again, it's definitely one just like drinking. Drinking brings a lot of people together and a lot of different vehicles. And
I think that it's a communal thing.
Yep.
Right. And there's so many weddings and events that I wasn't expecting someone there that I know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what the fuck, dude? I was like, yeah, dude, let's smoke.
That's awesome.
And there's other places where even recently, a good friend of mine, he's an alumni. He was like, hey, I'm going to a wedding in Jersey. I'm like, just for shits and giggles. What wedding is it? Where is it? And when's the date? And sure enough, he lives in Vermont. He was driving to Jersey. We were at that wedding. So it's just those small things that make it truly
cool.
like fun.
Well, you guys are crushing. You're doing a ton of events. Yeah. I want to roll this down and ask my last 2 questions. I ask everybody, every podcast. Yeah. First one, who's somebody or a couple people that you want to give some love to? Obviously, we talked about your team a lot. We talked about your family. Who's some other people that were imperative? You said you had mentors, coaches, people in the military. Give us 1 or 2 that may watch this.
Well, one is definitely my faith, right? It's helped me, especially coming out of the military, going through business, talking to other people. That's helped out a lot.
So your faith?
Yeah, God.
What is your religion?
I just believe in
a higher power, God.
JC, right?
Yeah.
I believe in them. So I'm a Bible. I'm a Christian type of person. That's my personality. I'm not perfect. Yeah.
A lot of Christians in Philippines.
Oh yeah, they're on fire for God. So which is awesome. when I say family, my wife, my son, my mom, my in-laws, thank you, right, for dealing with my bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Because
we have bullshit.
Yeah, we have bullshit. And growing this business 6 years. Stressful, right? If you know what's going to happen, right? What's the famous saying for a salesperson? You wake up broke every morning,
Yep.
right? And even though I'm the CEO, the chief smoking officer for our company, we wake up broke every morning, and we got hustle and go. Man, so many thank yous to my team, fucking crushing it. They're super loyal, and something about them is they're resilient.
The loyalty is
awesome.
a testament to you.
Yeah,
and you're creating a good culture,
and I appreciate that. But like at the end of the day, I'm like, they could be working for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
They could find some other person. They could go some other job. They could be like, hey, I'm done here.
Yeah.
Thank them. And my coaches and mentors. I've had some mentors, whether it's I do my coaching with Grant Cardone, so Nick and Matt Rogers, who are my initial mentors, even growing up. Dude, I have so many. Like,
have
Carlos.
you dealt with Grant?
What's that?
Have you dealt with Grant
Yes,
one-on-one?
I have.
How is he?
He's great. And I say he's not for everybody, but I like his style.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go through life, find someone that you could relate to, and who's 100 miles, thousands of miles ahead of you, and just pick out things.
Nuggets.
Some things I might not agree with, but he has success that has grown from it, and where can I implement it in those things?
Yeah,
So,
I think he gets a bad persona online too.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
and he plays into it.
Yeah, he plays into it. It's part of it. I've had some one-on-ones with him. I've had some cigars with him. It's great. And man, I want to thank, one is my friends who became family, right? I'm an only child, grew up in a single-parent home. They're not my blood, but they are my blood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you need, I know everybody always thinks that like family is the most important, and it's extremely important, but sometimes for families, like the lack thereof, or they're fucked up or whatever. I remember going to some of my friends, Thanksgivings and Christmas, or having them over ours, like they were family. And,
they're a family,
Your
man.
friends can be your family. Our good friends, Trevor and Dami, their daughter Riley is like a niece to me, and a cousin to Colton and Wesley, and it's friendships are extremely important. Second question.
Yes.
If you could tell a young entrepreneur, young lady, young man, one thing about starting a business and being an entrepreneur or going into sales, what's the one thing you would tell them?
Never stop learning.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that popped in my head.
Yeah.
Never stop learning. You're never going to arrive.
Yeah.
I always tell my team, never practice for perfection, practice for improvement. You can never be perfect, right? And for me, that's only one perfect being, right? And for us, never stop learning, grab a coach, grab a mentor, and just do that. And you're different, as we talk about different areas in our life, finances, family, business, fitness, get somebody. Never stop learning.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, it's true, because we think we arrived when we got here. Like when we're down here, we think that we're going to be arrived up there, and then you get there and you're like, all right, I'm not arrived. I need to keep going. At least for me, I always want to improve.
Yeah. I'm never going to reach that peak.
Yeah.
I always tell my team, if I ever tell you that I've arrived or I'm at the peak,
slap me.
Stop following me.
Yeah.
Honestly, stop following me.
Yeah, I love that.
But if I'm going to continue to lead with my partners through this, we're going to keep learning. It's always a learning every day.
It's great.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you for being here, dude.
Thank you.
This is fun. A very easy conversation. At times, I'm doing my magic and pulling the combo out. We kind of went all over the map. I think we touched on some cool stuff. You're supporting veterans. I'm behind that. Fireside's behind that. So any way we can help, let me know. And just thanks for being here, bro. Taking the time.
Yeah, Ryan, thank you so much. Our boy Matt, thank you so much again. And I appreciate you sharing stories and give us an opportunity to share our stories with other people too. So thank you again.
Absolutely, dude. Just be blasted through our whole ecosystem.
Yeah, love it. Thank you, brother.